Good evening, everyone, and we are all welcome to today's class of SQL. And like to call on Mr. Babatunde to continue from where we stopped last week. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Dr. Okay. Thank you so much, sir. So, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another section. This is the continuation of where we left off last week, and we still continue to further our study and our training on how to use our SQL. And if you remember last week, we spoke about a few things. We spoke about how we can actually manipulate our character with the use of concatenate with others as well. So we spoke about what is the function, how we can pass parameter or argument into those functions that have been created. So those functions are actually inbuilt in Oracle. So when you do your installation, they automatically come with it. So the usage now depends on the user or whoever that is actually writing queries. So we spoke about how we can actually manipulate our numbers as well by using the round figure, round, trunk, and many others. And we also spoke about how we can use our group function, which is the aggregate. For example, sum, when you sum, numbers of data or rows or record, when you sum them together, when you check the maximum, you check the minimum, so we check the average. So we also spoke about how we can actually use our case. And I remember I said something like case is like your condition, your logic, your conditional statement. Like you say if. So if this is, so you can actually do that, without using your PLS SQL, you can actually do that from your SQL. So without wasting much of our time, and if you are new, if you are joining us for the first time, you are also welcome. To existing, people that have been, with us for about I think this is the fourth one. So thank you and welcome. So today we shall be continue to go further. I'm going to share my screen with you quickly. Please hold. Okay. Can you all see my screen? Can
Yes.
you please say yes? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Doctor. Okay. Thank you so much, sir. So today being 24th of June. So I still want to remind us on how to write our basic SQL statement, meaning where you write your select and you put your columns and you say from the table name. So this is the basic. We should not forget this. So then we go further. There's something that I need to explain last time, which I have actually, think is quite important. You see, when we spoke about the aggregate, we spoke about how we can sum things together, how we can group things together, So there are ways by which we can pass condition. Remember, if you remember from our previous session, that you can actually use your where clause when you filter, when you filter information. You have bills of record, and you were given a task to say, okay, can you filter? Can you give us a certain information? So you can actually use your where clause to do that. So likewise, if you write your aggregate function, which is minimum, like average, like sum, okay, so you can actually use your having. Having is the key word. Having, you see, if you look at my screen, it says having clause is used if we need to filter result set based on the aggregate function, such as the minimum, maximum, sum, average, count. So what does that mean? You sum, you group, there's a group. You are given a task to say group the employee based on the managers. We have how many managers? Maybe perhaps we have 10 managers. And remember that each manager are assigned to numbers of employee. One could be more than the other. So now, now after grouping them, there's another condition that says, because you remember most of these things, so we learn all these SQLs in order to know how to apply them when it comes to, when you go into real life. Now they said, okay, group them into the manager and then check how many manager has got social numbers. Or maybe if you look at it, it says how many, let's say count, how many manager that have got numbers of employee that is less than 5. And I'm going to repeat that. This says count. You count, you group them by manager. Then it says how many manager has got employee that are assigned to them that is less than 5. So if you look at it, you see this is the condition. You cannot use count employee ID less than 5. You cannot use it with where clause. If you say where count employee ID less than 5, if you do that, it's going to say this is not a single function or something. It's going to give you error. So the way you use your aggregate function with your condition is by applying it under the having, not with your where. Okay, you can see now this is having, or you can say where maybe some salary is greater than 24,000, or maybe this. So it comes under, automatically come under this one, under the having. So we should also know the difference between having to use where clause and having clause. So we should also understand how there are limitations, because most of these conditions have got limitations. They've got boundaries where we can actually apply them. So you need to really pay attention to all this. So your single function, you can actually use, even with this, you can actually use your where clause, but not with this aggregate. This aggregate with, like, let's say count or sum, and you pass it in, you pass it into the sum, into where clause. No. So we move further to say your where. Yes, you can see now that it says having and where clause. How do we differentiate them? What are their limitations? It says having clause checks the condition in a group, on a group of rows, and where checks the condition on each individual record or each individual row. So having is used with aggregate function, and where cannot be used with aggregate function. Remember I said you cannot pass, you cannot, okay, let's say you want to replace that. You want to replace this having, and you just put, if you have your PC, you try it, but then it is not under this condition. It has to come, if you are using your where clause, it has to come immediately after from. Let's say from table, it has to come under from table, from employee, then the where clause comes under immediately under the. So if you try to say where count employee ID is less than 5, it's going to tell you that this is not an aggregate function or something. So you can try that. So now, these are the limitations, and you should know how to apply them. So you can see my screen. I first selected this, and I use this. Okay, so this is where you can actually use your where clause. You can actually combine them, and if you look at it, it does make sense. That okay, this is, you count them. You say okay, you group them by the manager. The same example that I'm using, you group them. You want to have a group. You want to have teamwork in the office. That they have to group you guys in the department into several groups. Maybe you have up to D or E groups. So then there's going to be a team leader, in each of the group. So now the group, they actually group all the employee, that are assigned to the manager. They actually, so they group them. They said, okay, for instance, if you look at it, this one, now they are counting how many. Okay, if you see the first query, it says when you group them, they now check how many managers have got less than 5 employees. So if you look at it, these are the name. And if you look at the first one, why this one came is because it's no. I remember I was saying something. No is different from 0. That shows this one doesn't have a manager. So it's still going to come under this. So if you look at it, it's less than, all these are less than 5. Okay. So when you combine your where clause and your having clause, it is, if you see it below, it says you count the employee, the same logic, you put them out, then you check which of the manager, one, you first check which one that got less than 5. Okay, you filter that. Then again, it's going to apply the white clause to say, okay, which of the manager that has got ID number of 103. So that is what you see there. So if you look at it, if you compare the first query and the second and the below one, you will see much difference. So this is how to apply them, and this is how to the position, how you arrange them. This is the arrangement. Having cannot come before the where. So this is the arrangement. You see, I was saying, when you say select from comes under the select. From the select, it goes, the where. From where, you can have a group by, you can have what's it called? So the having clause. So these are the things, these are how you can apply them. So if you are given a task to do in your office, your various offices, so if you have to use all this, then you need to be very careful of how you actually apply them. You can see now that you cannot swap and put count employee ID under the where. So you should know how to use them. When you have aggregate, when you have a single row function, so you should know. So then we move to the joint. So this has actually concluded, the fact that when you have your single function, you have your single function or aggregate function, so those are the things that you need to take, into account when handling that. So I hope I'm not moving too fast. Dr. Okay, can you please check if you guys are following? Can you please say
we are
yes for me?
following. But the question is this: are you going to the platform for the SQL? Are you going on the Oracle to do that, or you are just using this template?
I'm just using it because I've sent this the script, so they can actually use the script. So
Please.
for each of the slides, I've extracted all the scripts, so they can actually be using this in order not to waste much of our time. They can actually copy and paste and run it.
Okay. Ogosaya,
Can
kindly
actually
share the script on the WhatsApp too. Somebody is asking for it. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so we talk about joint. What do we mean by joint? We bring it two tables together. Remember, we said, how do we store our information? Our informations are kept in the table. in the database. Okay, so you have two tables. We need to join them together. We have 3 tables. We have 4 tables. We have 5 tables. We have 10 tables. You know, we want to join them together. But how do we do that? How do we achieve that? Okay, so there are ways by which we can actually do that. So according to the standard, so if you look at it, when you are joining 2 tables, you join the 2 tables based on a common column. So there must be an element of commonality in any of the table that you want to join. Let it be 100, let it be 10, let it be anything. There must be elements of commonality. So you need to check first to see, okay, how I want to see, this is table A. How does it relate to table B? So you need to check that. And this is why I'm saying that you need to know, to understand how the structure works, how you can actually relate the structure, compare structure together, try to find a common entity among perhaps maybe 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 tables, depending on the condition. So if you look at it, it says join 2 tables based on common and select records that are matching values in these columns. Okay, and if you look at it, sometimes that is just the default, meaning that's the basic. When you join the 2 tables together, by the time we go, maybe by the time we further in this session, we'll begin to see some of this outside join, full outside join. You'll begin to see even at the time when the entities are not, fine. The first thing is the condition to have to be joined. Sometimes you have record, you have table that are joined together, but one does have more record than the other one. And how do you pull those records? How do you pull them out? Because if you look at it, the basic, the fundamental join is it will only pull out those matching one. But what about the other one that is left in the database on the table? So how do we see that? How do we see that? So you will begin to see now from other session. So primarily, this joint condition will only return the columns or the record that are having matching record. If you look at it, there's a column. This is table 1. Okay, it's joining the table 2 on, meaning this on means this is where they are common. This is the link between the 2. This is what this one. This is what you can actually search from this table, and and this is what you can actually search from the other table. So those are the common, join on this. Those are the common elements, that is the link to both table. So it says on mean, if you look at it, it said table 1 dot column 1 and table 2 dot column 2. So this column 1, we will see the example, because this one might not really make so much sense to you. So table 1 and table 2 are tables that are joined together, that are joined. One is the column in the table 1 that is related to column 2 in table 2. So what do I mean by that? If we look at our HR schema, we do have some tables. If you check, we do have our department and we do have employee. Okay, so if you see the employee, that is the table where we have been using from the beginning of this beginning of this training. So if you look at it, this is employee table. When the employee table was created, it was created in this manner. It was this shape, this structure, meaning it does have employee ID with numbers. How many numbers? The length. Remember, we spoke about it, that we use some query to count the length of a data type. So what you see as under the type is the data type. Is the data type describing, telling Oracle what's the information that you want to keep in that column. You see, you only give a name. So if the data type is to say, please, can you please create this space for me inside this table? And what do I want to capture into it? I want to capture numbers. And how many? I want to capture 10 numbers. You see, so you can also say, can you create a place for me called first name? And what do I want to capture into it? I want to capture a virtual, meaning I want to capture character alphanumeric, with the length. So these are the instruction that you give to when you create a table. You see, so now the table that we have been using, which is the employee table, is having this. This is the structure. These are the columns that exist. So if we look at it, this is the department. We want to join these two together. Okay, and remember we said if you have to join any table together, there must be elements of commonality. They must be common in a way. They must have a link. Okay, so if you look at it, these two, they have this link, which is department ID. And if you remember, I remember someone asked a question last session, and says, how do we determine the name of a department? So we're going to see that. And I remember I told the person, I said, no, when we do joins, so we're going to see that. So if we look at it, this is the link between these two tables, meaning employee, this is the employee record. An employee record, employee belongs to a particular department. So that is what this structure is also telling us. And you can see it does have a department name, department ID, manager ID, and the location. And it will be very, very. These are the other things that you need to pay attention to when you are creating your table. You need to put something into consideration. Redundancy. A lot of people, a lot of developers, when they create tables, okay, you see this table called department. I like it very much. You know why? Because you can see it's only referenced in the employee table under employee table with just the department ID. Other developer will create this employee table, putting the department name, and whereas it's going to be department name is going to belong to another department. Belonging to another table, which is department. So in a way, when you link them together, sometimes they produce Cartesian products. There's something called Cartesian product. So we do not want that. Sometimes they bring duplication, sometimes, So it is good when your table is actually normalized. You can see the ID. If you're looking for this, if you're looking for information of employee, you can find it here. So what is the name? A department is actually kept in another table. Department, okay, maybe under the Faculty of Science, Department of Mathematics, Computer Science. So you see all those things. So you can actually say maybe mathematics is math, maybe it's CSS math, something that is Department of Mathematics. Maybe computer science is CSS or something. So you can actually see their description under the department. So you do not. The only time you reference when it comes to maybe students' information, you only reference that code, the department code, under the student information. See, so now you want to join them together. So if you look at it, join employee and the department table based on the common value of their department ID. You select, this is a statement. We select this, okay? And if you look at it, we select all this. Yes, pay attention to this. How does it know where you are selecting those columns from? You need to tell. You need to instruct. That is why you need to know. You are giving instruction to Oracle to say, can you fetch me this data from this table. And if you can look at it, this is employee. It says select employee dot. This is the column. So we're using this as a table, as a reference. Saying from this table, I want you to fetch me employee ID. From employee table, can you fetch me first name? Employee table, can you fetch me last name? And you can see this. Say from department, because I'm joining two tables. Say from department, fetch me department name. You see how it is written. So if you look at it, then it says from this table, from which is employee, and it says join. It's joining, joining. It's linking department on their link. This is their link. They link here because they are connected here. Remember from our previous slide, employee table has got department ID, and department ID has got department ID as well. I mean, department has got department ID as well. So that's a link between the table. If you run this, this is what you get. It says this SQL joined the employee was got based on this common value, which is this, and this both columns. You see, this are the record that you found. And it is more than this. If you check it, but for the purpose of because I couldn't capture, the full image, I mean the full screen. So if you check from your side, if you run the query from the script, perhaps you will see this. This is it, and I've actually highlighted this for you to be able to see that. To see that it's actually joined here. So this is the way to join to two table. You can join more than two tables. Just ensure that value, those common entity, those link, they are well defined. From those tables, I see, okay, they link here. Check if they are properly linked, then you can actually do that. Okay. Then we move. You see the joint condition you can actually rewrite it. It can be rewritten, if you look at it, these are the previous, this is the condition. I mean, this is the query that we saw before. So this is it. You can actually write it using your alias. Sometimes this could be so bogus and becomes so awkward to read, when you have to reference table name, against the columns. Sometimes, imagine when you have 50 record, 50 tables that you have to join together. So it becomes so awkward. I mean, so I mean, it's not really attractive, So if you look at it, they said it's the alias with the table names to make the query short and clean. It is not, the same, both queries will give the same result, but you're just fine tuning it, beautifying it, making sure that it's actually readable. You don't want to write something that is going to be a nightmare when you are looking at it and say, how many code? Maybe you have about 1,000 lines of code of SQL. Now you look at it and say, hey, where do I start from? So this is how to do it. See, remember when you were using when this, okay. I reference this. If you look at it for this employee, I put E. And for the D, for the department, I put D. And if you look at it from select E dot employee ID, E dot. So you would have stated that from. So the instruction would have been well stated. Then Oracle Optimizer will understand what you are trying to do. It will try to say, okay, this person wants this particular column from this particular table based on what you've actually stated here. So you can see it is E representing this, and you can see, and this is how it is. It is both query return, give the same result, but in terms of readability, in terms of, that is, that. Am I moving too fast? Are we together? Can you please say yes for me?
Yes, we're still together.
Okay. So how many? Thank you, Doctor. Okay, thank you so much, sir. So how many joint conditions do we have? So how many ways can we join our data or our tables together, with different conditions? So we have four ways by which we can actually join our tables, So the first one is inner join, and the left join, and the right join, and the full outer join. Okay. If you look at it, the default condition, the default one when you join the two tables is by inner. It is inner join, what we saw before. So, but then we're still going to look at it in any case. So, it is inner. We have inner, we have outer. We have left, we have right, we have full outside join. So the first one is inner join. Like I said, this is the default from the Oracle. So when you write your joint, if you do not say, if you just pass your condition, if you just say on join the department, by default it's going to apply inner join for you. So what we saw before, it is inner join, but it might not just be stated as inner join. So now joint condition, you join the two tables together with this matching column, just so, like what I said before. So the row, if you say SQL's return select rows based on the matching field, which is department ID from table this employee and department. So if you look at it, this is what the same query, you just remove and put in what's it called inner join. Like I said, by default, when you join two tables together, if you do not put any inner, if you don't put right, if you don't put left, if you don't say, if you do not say full outer join, Oracle automatically assign inner join. So okay, so we go into this inner join with a where clause. Okay, let's say for instance we apply the inner join. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Remember I said, sir, I'm listening,
Hello,
sir.
Sorry.
Yes,
Before
yes,
you
yes, sir.
move to all these type of joints, I just want to clarify something. I don't know. Yeah, do we mean based on this particular pitch lady, do we mean that department name is still the same as department ID, just like you explained before?
Department ID.
I hope
Okay.
this particular department name and department ID, are they the same? Are we using them as same stuff?
Okay.
I don't know if
Remember,
if you are getting what I'm saying.
no, okay. Let me okay. Maybe if I do not get you right, maybe by the time I explain, I think I maybe not 100%, but then I think I have an idea of what you're talking about. Okay. You remember when you see on employee table, if you check on the employee table, you have department ID. Employee,
Yes.
they are created. So once you come into any organization, you are created, linking you to a department to say, that's the employee record. So now in that employee record, let's say for instance, maybe it's Baba today. So that employee record, then they reference the department ID on my record.
Okay.
You see, remember now the name is not is stored somewhere, not on the employee ID.
Yes.
I mean, not on the employee table.
Department. Okay.
Yes. So the ID is in employee table. But remember, it is only ID that is referenced in the employee table. So the name of the department, they are stored somewhere on another table called department.
Okay.
Let's say, remember I made an example to say, look at it, Faculty of Science in university. Okay.
Okay.
Faculty of Science, we have other departments under Faculty of Science.
Okay.
We have mathematics, we have physics, we have maybe computer science.
Okay.
So you have chemistry, you have
Okay.
all, you know. So you see now.
Okay.
So they maybe they created a department for those faculty to say department. So they will have department code. Then they say maybe computer science is 001 as a code. Then the name, which is the description, is computer science. Another one, maybe mathematics, will be maybe 0002. Then the name, the description is mathematics. So it is kept there. So now, let's say, for instance, when a student register, I mean, is actually matriculated, then they can actually reference on his student record. What does it belong to? They only reference the department code.
Okay.
You see, so, but if you want to know the name of that code, you need to join.
Okay.
You see now?
Okay.
Do you understand, sir?
Yes, sir.
It is two tables that is involved. The one that is keeping transaction, meaning anyone that comes, they log him in and they keep his record. But the description of the department is stored somewhere.
Okay.
Yes.
Very much clear, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Yes. So they do that in order not to, okay, it will make sense if we have, let's say, for instance, we have on employee table, we see maybe Baba today, maybe computer science, and what's it called, computer science. So they reference the full name or the description, everything is there. So it doesn't make it, better when it comes to structure, when it comes to reporting. So, and that is why sometimes they created all those sectional tables so that they can link them together by code. But they will have a reference where they are all linked. So okay. So like I said, inner joins. This is inner joins. So how do we use our inner join with where clause? Okay. So remember, this is the department. Yes. If you look at it, sir, the question that you ask, you see department ID, which is 10, it means administration. Any department code 20 is marketing. So all the departments, their name are listed under the department in any organization. So if you're looking for the description of any department, you have to go to the department table. So they are only reference the code in the employee table to say this employee belongs to this particular code. So, but then if you are looking for the description, you need to join that table so that in order to fetch the information. So if you look at this, how do they actually apply where clause? You see, they are joining these two tables, inner join. They are joining here, okay? They join them, they have this joint. They have this column, common column, which is a department ID. And the department ID does exist on employee table as well. So now, but then the result is, you can actually check if you run that without the where clause. So now, if your where clause is added, and where you say, I want strictly, these two, okay, give me the matching record, having their ID, having their record same, and give me the department where the department ID is 90. And if you look at the department ID 90, it's called executive. If you look at it from the first, look at the left one, which is the first screenshot. If you look at it, 90 is executive. So you can see. You see. So this is the way you can actually link them together. It says Stephen King. It belongs to executive department. But if you look at it under the table, under the employee table, you will see the Stephen department ID will be 90 if you check. So these are the way you can actually use all this to join them together, inner joint, having to apply your where clause. There's a way you can turn it upside down. You can do a lot of things. You can manipulate it. You can do a lot of things with all this. So I urge you guys to please practice as much as, take a lot of, take data, different data, plug it in, just look at the structure of the table and try so many things. I want to apologize. I'm supposed to have done that. There's this exercise that I've been, compiling together that I want to send, but quite unfortunate, my last week was extremely tight. So I was actually supervising an implementation of something. So I promise, so it will publish it so that people can actually have to go through those exercises, and and I will make myself available anytime anyone need any help. So as well. So back to the inner joint with square clause. So these are the things. These are how we can actually apply them. So we move to the left joint, and if you look at it, it's very, very, very simple. When you look at it, it's a left joint. You have two tables. Okay, so table 1, left join table 2. Okay, these are the common. Remember I said when you see horn, okay, horn is the common, the common factor, the link between the two. So, but then you need to take something into consideration. The left, it says the left. Okay, then you need to check which table falls on the left. So you need to be very careful of that. So the instruction, and that's why I'm saying that the instruction that you are giving, you are typing, you really need to know what you're doing. So it's saying left. Table 1 is left table to be joined. If you look at it, this is table 1, which is from. Immediately after the from, you see it is assumed to be left. You see. So the table 2 assumed to be on the right. And if you look at it, just place them left and right, So they are joined, on this column, which is on the common column, which is 1, 2. So then we need to check how they are being used. Okay, I did something. Sorry, excuse me. So if you look at it, we're still using the same table. We're still using the same table, which is the employer and department ID. We can use other tables as well. It depends on your logic. I do not want to go outside, this template. So I want us to go so that we can have smooth, flow. Because if I begin to create more data and put in a lot of things, it might confuse a lot of people. And that's why I want to strictly keep to this, so that people can get this. Once you understand this, it is easier for you to be able to apply the logic on other environments or other data. So if you look at it, this is left joined. Your left join employee table and the department table based on the on their shared, which is common ID. These two. And if you look at the employee is the left table. If you see, this is the employee on the left table. You see this? It is on the left, sorry. It is on the left table, okay? And the department is on the right, okay? And you are saying, you are giving instruction, okay? The instruction is this. I'll read it, I'll come back again. You see, when you left join, you are telling the system, say, okay, the first one, please pay attention to this. Can you give me all the matching column? That's one. Okay. The second question, the second one is, even if that employee doesn't have department, can you I'm going to repeat myself, and this is where you need to pay attention to, because this could be so confusing. You see, you are saying, look at the position. You need to be very careful of the position, So this one is on the left. you are saying the one that you want is, okay, you want employee, you want all employee, all the employee on the employee tables, regardless whether they have department or not. That's just a simple English. So you need to give me, you need to give me all the employee, whether they have employee, whether they have department or not. Because you remember, they can employ some people into the organization, and at the time, they might not yet be assigned to a particular department. It does happen. Okay, so if you only use your inner joint, it is only going to show you those employee that has, employee with department that have already been assigned to a department. So what of, I want to see all employee, regardless whether they have department or not. Okay, so this will be able to give it to you. And if you look at it, this query, I actually take a screenshot. I took two because of the length. You see, and if you look at it, the record that is actually giving me is about 108. So I wouldn't be able to capture that on the screen. So I actually divided it into two. So if you look at it, just for you to be able to see, the query. But then I'm going to tell you what I've done for the first command. So if you look at it, these two, if you look at these two, you see, it's bringing all these two, all these employees, it's listing, giving me, he has listed all the employees, both with departments that have been assigned and both that for those that are still, they are orphaned, they still don't, they are yet to be assigned to a department. You can see. So I did something. I inserted into this table, into the employee. I inserted into a table employee. I inserted a record called Bush, which is 207. If you look at it, I inserted a Bush into 207. I do not want this one to be all alone, in case, for the benefit of the training. So I inserted another record into that table. It is this one, which is the Bush, meaning this. If you look at the record from the script, this is what you probably get. And you can see Bush and Kimberly, they got into the organization, but yet they don't have department. So you need to know where is my table falls in. Which one do I want? If it's the one that you want all the information to be listed, you need to, if you are using left join, then put it on the left. You can actually swap it as well. Okay, you can actually swap it. You can swap what's it called. You can swap around. You can swap employee. You can put maybe you can say from department, but then the instruction that you're going to give to what's it called, theoretical, is going to be different. You're going to say right. If you want all the one of the employees to be, all the information on the employees to be listed. So it depends on where and how to use it. So I'm telling you all the limitations and how to apply them, So you need to pay attention to the position of the table. So if you see the table, if you say L left, just look at the table on the left. This is the way I work. If I see left, I just look at the position of the left. When I'm checking something, I just look at the position, which one is on the left. Oh, okay, it is this one. So it's telling me that I wanted to list out all the information from the left, regardless whether this other one is not. So it will give me, it is two things that are always combined together. And you will see this. You would hardly see this as people are telling you all this. They always say, oh, they join them together. No, it is two conditions that I see in this. Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, sir. I don't know. Some of us will like you to at least some of them directly on Oracle so that we'll see and we see how we can correct our mistake, because some of us are not getting the results that we have on this presentation. So if we can just
What do you want me to do? You want me to go to SQL?
yes, and run.
Okay.
Yes.
This is okay. This is left join. Okay. If you look at it, I'm just going to copy that. I have it on. If you look at it, it's on 13, and if 13 is there on 13.
Yes.
On 13 scripts. Okay. You see on 13 script. If you look at it on 13 slide, you see, and that's why I've sent that, because I do not want us to waste much of our times, you know. So, but then I'm going to copy it for the benefit.
Just
I'm
do
going to
like
go
3
to.
or 4 for us. Just do like yes, and then we go back to that place.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so you can just copy this. Okay, just copy the script is there. So just copy. Okay. Have you connected to your SQL already? If you are there, just say yes for me. Can someone mute their mic, please? That's okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay, no, okay. It's fine. Thank you. So you see now, I just copy from that slide. Okay, and if you look at it from the script, I said, okay, it is on 13 slide. And if you look at it, it's on 13 slide. Now that is the left join. That's when you are joining when the employee is on the, you know. And if you look at it, if you run it, this is what you're going to get. You see. Remember, I said it is 108. I said for the benefit of the fact that you know, I cannot take this. I mean, the screenshot wouldn't be able to fit into that slide. So if you look at it, it's joining. It's okay. If you look at it, it's joining. It's listening. Okay, yes. If you look at it, for those employee, if you look at it, for those employee that have been assigned, Jennifer has assigned to administration, you know, Pat has been assigned to marketing, you know, and Michael is in marketing as well. And if you look at it, if you go down, so this is the instruction that you're giving. I want to see all, regardless whether they have. I want to. The employee name must be listed.
Sorry, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for the platform. I want you. Is it possible? Because you asked a question, only one person replied. Can you link it from the way people will link to the Oracle and continue from the pages, the way we do the beginning the other time, so that some of them that are asked the question about the previous video will also click into this one. Thank you.
You mean I should start all over from connecting to the Oracle?
You asked a question about how many people. Only one person replied, and that's why I said, let's connect and copy other codes that other scripts that you already put on the slide, so that people will see the way it run.
Oh, okay. No. Remember, I just copied this one now. Okay.
Exactly.
So this, yes. So this is the way you can actually copy them and run them.
Okay.
So you go to the script. It is under the slide. You just copy them and you just run them. And if you look at it, this is the department. I said select from the 11, from the slide 11. I said select from you select from, you just copy from there. Okay, go here. You dump them here, you see. So you can see from slide 11. So these are the information that you have on the department. Okay. And if you look at it, it says the department code and the department, you know, name, and the manager that is in charge of that department, and the location where it is. whether it is Oklahoma, whether it is whether it is in Maryland, whether it is so you see them, you see, it will say, okay, maybe this is the location ID. So this location ID is actually linked to another table called location. You see, so you see how they reference, how they join, how they are related. So in that location table, you might perhaps see location ID, and what's the name of the location ID? Perhaps to be something, So let me see if I can, if there's from tab, I see all the table there. Yes, you see, select, okay, sorry, select start from location, locations. You see now, can we all see this? You see now, so it is actually location is actually referenced somewhere. So this location, you can see location address, this address is this, and this postal address is this, and this one is for province is New Jersey, is you can see. So these are the ways by which they are linked. Obviously, you should be able to link. One should be able to link the department to a location, because if you look at it, the location ID exists in both location ID exists here, which is the location, and it does exist under the department as well. So they are common, and they are common on which ground? The link is location ID. I think if we clear about that, I think we should jump right into into the training. So just copy the script and run it, and then we should be able to see all this. Okay, is the person okay now? Can I go?
So what we are saying is it's okay to at least people can see. We don't need to, as I don't want us to assume that everybody has that same privilege. That's why we said those scripts that we already have, the way you are copied it, please, the subsequent one you can copy and paste and let people see it the way you show you display it. So
no, it's fine. It's fine. I will do so. Thank you, sir. Okay. Then we move. Like I said, this is the left one. Okay. This is the left one. Saying, okay, any of the column that you want, any of the column. Sorry. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay. If you look at it, okay, then like I said, if any of the information that you want to see all, let's say for instance you want to see all from a particular table, then you need to know where am I going to put it? What's the position? You need to determine that. Am I putting it on the left or right? That's the first thing you do. You know that for instance, okay, let me make another example that will speak to you. Okay, let's say you have product, a particular product, and you have order table. You see, okay, you go to ShopRite, you want to buy things. You go to Woolworths, you want to buy things. Okay, you see, they have a lot of products. They have them, but remember, not all the products are being bought by people. There are products that no one is even buying them. But now, look at it. But you want to see regardless. I want to see all this information. I want to see the information of all the products, regardless whether they have a buyer or not. You see, this is how the way to apply them. Because if you say, I want to see product that is being bought, or that is people are buying, it's only going to show you those ones that are, have, they have orders, and they have, they exist on the product. So, but then what about those ones that they have products, but they do not have buyers? How do you cater for that in your query? So your position is very key. You need to know the position. Then when you know the position, that is when you should be able to know which command you're going to use. Whether you're going to say it is left, whether it's going to say it is right. Please pay attention to that. So, okay. Excuse me. Sorry, my laptop is freezing. Okay. Okay. I think I will just okay, that's left. Okay. Why this is happening? Okay, so okay. We spoke about this. So we're gonna we move to how we can apply our where clause to the left join. This is, remember when we said the left join, look at it. These are the two people that they do not have departments. Okay, so then which is fine. Then we move to the Y, clause. Then they say where employee belongs to this. You see, left join is left join on this, and this is you see. Can we all see? So I just copy and paste. You see now, it's showing me you are giving the instruction that you only want the one that is having this record. So I mean, having this information 2 and 6. You see, but and again, you say left join. I want to see all the name of the employee within this within this condition, which is to employee, and I want to see regardless whether they have department or not. You can see now, Kimberly, he doesn't have department. He or she is still not having any employee. I mean, assigned to any of the department. Williams belongs to accounting department. You see now, so these are you can see the employee information is complete, but you can see the other one that is not complete. That is not. So it will list out the employee for you, the information, because you put it on the left, and you are saying the employee is on the left, and the condition left join is because I want the one on the left, which is employee record. I want all the information of it to be printed out or to be displayed, regardless whether it links. I mean, it does have this one. Okay. So we go back to we go to right join. You see this right join, okay? If you look at it, the right join, like I said to you, the position matters a lot. It is just the same way, but you swapping it to the other side. Okay. You say right join, join the two tables based on the common. It selects the record that are matching values in, So then what then it does is, it checks and it takes the column, it takes the table on the right side into account. You see now, it takes the one on the right into account. It wants to see how the one on the right, regardless whether it's whether it does have information that corresponding information on the left. So if you look at it, it says select the columns from the table 1, right join table on this common ground. Table 1 is on the left and table 2 is on the right. Then those two columns are related, meaning they are common. So how do we then do that? How do we then achieve that? Okay, you are saying this is right. You are saying from employee, which is E, right join the department. It's right join department. I want to see, you are instructing the Oracle to say, I want to see the list of all the departments, regardless whether they, fine. I want to see the list of the department, having the match with employee, and plus the department that doesn't have employee. You can see. And I'm going to copy this and run it on SQL. You see now, the department is on the right. And you want to see all the information of that table, those matching record on the right. Plus, you need to list all, even if they don't have corresponding information on the right, on the left, so rather. So if you look at it, this is how to apply them. Can you see this? You see, it's listening. You see, if you go down, you see that yeah, this one does have this one does have this one. So in other words, you can actually, if you look at this, if you ask me to interpret this in a simple English, I will tell you that this query is actually giving information about department that have got people who are assigned to them, and also those that they do not have anyone assigned to. And you can see now this department, you can see treasuries, corporate tax, control and credit, shareholders and services, benefits and manufacturing, construction, contracting, operating. They do not have anyone assigned to them. But you can see it listed them out. Why? And if you look at it, the position, the department position is on the right. It's on the right. And that is where you give that condition to say on the right. Can you please give me this one on the right? You fetch me the matching columns, yet even if they don't have the matching, okay, plus the one that you don't, So that is what you're actually seeing from the picture, from here. Are we all following? Are we on the same page?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're enjoying you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. So please pay attention. The first thing when you see, anytime you see any joint, the first thing you look, first go through the condition and say, is it joint, left joint, or first joint? Right joint. That's the first thing I look for. Okay. Having satisfied that, then I look at the table on the right or on the left. Okay, let me see the position. Oh, which one does he want to see? Which one does he want to, all the record in that table? Which one does he want to see all the record published? Then to determine, you'll be able to determine that. There are other ways that you can actually use to write this. I'm not so used. I need to be honest with you. I'm not so used to all this on joint. Joint left inner joint, upper, outside joint. I'm not used to. I love the old traditional way of writing it with a plus. I can do magic with it. But for the sake of the fact that, okay, when you write exam, when you write your introduction to SQL, these are actually tested and you need to know it. It's very, very important. And if you know this, it will be much easier. It's just like when you drive a manual, it will be much easier for you to be able to drive automatic. So that is why this one is actually important. So without wasting more time, I think we're taking into account this position now that you need to know. So please pay attention to it. Then we need to talk about the full outer join. You see, you are comparing, you say, okay, the full outer join is table 1. The full outer join is based on the common corridor. Yes, all the joints, they need to have a common column, a common column. I mean, a column, yes, a common column or a common entity. They need to have that. You need to check this table and this other one. Any table that you want to join, do not let me say 2 tables. You can join as many tables as possible, but do not. I mean, first thing you do, you need to check table A. How does it relate to table B? Or table B, how does it relate to table A, or how does it relate to table C? So you need to consider that. The element of commonality is very, very important. It's just like when you do your when we do our lower common factor or something. So you need to check what do you have to look for. So that is very important. And this one, this full outer join, meaning the same condition. You are combining. I will tell you, you're combining outer join, I mean right outer join and the left outer join together. So you are combining those two into play. So they call it what's it called? So it will get a machine one, yet it will look for the record that is here. That I mean, the record that is here that doesn't in the other. Look at the record that is in A that is not in B, and again it will look for the record that is in B that is on the A, and it will publish it for you. So it is more or less the same, but they just use that to say, okay, let's say for instance, you said, I want to see the department, I want to see employee that have department, that have been assigned a department. Okay, the same query, give me the department that do not have any employee assigned to them. That is the meaning of outer join, full outer join. You want to see that. So we'll copy this. We'll go down and we'll see. Let me go to, yes. I'll go to this one quickly. So this is full outer join, and we will see how it's actually come to play. So go to query. No. Okay, let me copy this again. Let's go. Full outer join. Yeah. Yes, I can see. Yeah, that's it. Okay. You see, it is full outer join. Okay. It's saying, give me the employee that is having department, machine department. Or give me department that is having employee. Either way. Then again, give me the list of employee that are not yet assigned to a department. See in the same. It's accommodating it. Again, it's saying, give me department, list of department that as yet they do not have employee. You see, it's combining all of it. And you look at it, these are common. And if you look at it, you go down, they are very common, common. You look at it. Okay. For instance, you look at this one. You can see this Kimberly, it doesn't have, it hasn't been assigned to any department. It's just floating. It's orphan. It has not been assigned to any department. You see, it is actually catered for in this query. Okay. Then you go further. If you look at it, the same thing happened to Obama. Obama too it's just floating. It doesn't have a department. Then if you look at it, again, there are departments that are yet, they do not have employee. Maybe they are newly created. Maybe they are, I don't know. So maybe they as yet, you can see it listed them. So it's actually combining, if you ask me, logically, it's actually combining the left outer join right after join and left after join together. And this is why you can see all this. I don't know if I'm making sense. Please, if you want me to repeat this, I can actually do that.
Okay, you can go ahead and repeat it so that
okay.
we'll be on the same side.
Okay. Let's now put a little bit of logic into this. Okay. First thing you need to understand when it comes to joining tables. It is joining can be, it's any element more than one. Because you can't just join one table together. I mean, there's another way you can actually do that as well. So I don't want to go into that. So, but you can actually join two tables together. 3 tables, more than 3, more than one. You can join them together. But then, how do we join them together? Because if there's no link, how do you say there's a family? This one is a family. This other one is another family. This another family. It's because they have elements, they have commonality, they have things they share together. So now I want to join this table called employee, and I want to join it with department. Naturally, what it does, the way the compiler or the optimizer, the way the Oracle has been developed is, if you write your query and if you say, please join these 2 tables for me, and you do not indicate whether it is left, whether it is right, whether it is outside join, what it does, it defaults to inner join. And what does that mean? The inner join, what it means is it will only return a common column, matching column. So if any record doesn't tally fully with the other one, it doesn't display it. You don't see it from your resource set. It will only display those information that are matching. And that is the default from the Oracle. And that is the same condition applied to the inner join. Okay, that is that. The second one, which is the right, the left. Okay, what I said, please pay attention to the position. Okay, you want to join 2 tables together. You want to join 3 tables together. You want to join 4 tables, regardless. Pay attention to the position. And this is why I'm saying what you are doing, you should know it. There should be clarity. There's no mismatch. If you mismatch it, if you put any mismatch, you're going to get mismatch results. Just like what they say is garbage in and garbage out. So you need to be you need to know what you want. And this is why I'm saying your English has to be very clear. And you need to understand, what am I getting? What is the requirement? What is the request? What is the information that I'm getting from here? So fine. They said, please give me the list. Okay. Let's say, for instance, they said, give me the list of and this is why I said you can actually swap it, then change the position, and you need to change the condition. When it is left, you are saying left, and the left, what is the table that is in the left? It is employee. So you are instructing Oracle to say, fine, I'm joining 2 tables together. Fine, I'm joining 2 tables. Give me the matching record plus. Even though it doesn't have record in the other one. You see, the left, because you put it on the left and you are saying left join on the other one. But if you say right, so the one that you say right, look at it, you pay attention to those conditions. The one on the right will be will be your key, your master key. You see, I'm just saying that this is up, so I'm just saying that you need to pay attention to the one that is, okay, if it is left join, pay attention to the left, table. If it's on the right, just pay attention to the, to the right table. So it's saying give me for the right one. And there's department on the right. You say, give me the machine because you are joining. That's, you need to fulfill all righteousness. And the righteousness is you need to fulfill the requirement of the joint, meaning giving you the elements that are mentioned. Those records that are mentioned. Okay, that's one. Secondly, is because the department is on the right, and the condition is on the right joint. You are telling, you are instructing to say, please, just like somebody going to a store to fetch me something, say, hey, sorry, Mister, all I want you to do is get me those product, or even the one that is the idle department, or the department that do not have anyone assigned to them. You know, we do know that that does exist. I've seen several departments being created. You know, perhaps because of the policy, maybe because of, but yet they do not have any employee assigned to them. Maybe they are still waiting for government approval or something, so that they can hire people. But in case if you are giving this the same requirement to say, okay, let's see, what are the employees? Because they are created. How do we then know? So now, but then you need to combine them, and that's why the position is very key. You need to take position very seriously. So the right, which are on the department, is you are saying, please give me the matching. Then the matching one between the two tables. Again, the right, which is the department, publish all the department for me, even though they do not have anyone assigned to them. Okay, so the full outer join, in my own opinion, is combining those two together. It's combining the two. It's combining the two, joining it, combining the inner and outer join. Because if you look at it, this one has got deficit. This one doesn't have this information. This one, so you are combining and saying, okay, even the fact that, okay, you give me the matching one. Okay, now go into that table. Even the one that is here, that is no longer, it is not there, give me. The one that is there, that is not in the other one, give it to me. Publish it for me in my result. That is full outer join. I don't know if I'm making sense. Can you please say yes if I'm actually making sense? Hello, that's okay. Are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Can you?
We are getting it, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because I really want you to pay attention to the, and I really want you to practice as, okay, please pay attention to that. Please, anytime you see this, first thing that you see in that query, before you begin to do anything, pay attention to the, whether they say it is left or whether they say it is right. That's the first thing that you do. That's the logic that, for me, that is working for me. So anything, like Hausa people will say, when you say you are selling this medication, and they'll tell you, I said, have you tested it before? So it is working, actually working for me. I don't even look at the query. The first thing I do, I just go straight to that table to say with the condition. So okay, it is left, it is right. Okay, then what are the left? What are the table on the left? Which table on the left? Okay. Then when I know the table on the left, then I have clarity. I know the information that, okay, you want this information to be listed, regardless whether it has this information on this. It will pull out the condition, then So if it is left, if it is right, also you need to check to see how you can actually put them together. Please pay attention to those colors. It is very tricky. I do understand. If you don't have full understanding now, and this is why I take my time to do this. That's why the fact that I have a tight schedule this week, because I know this is where a lot of people are dragging with. This is where a lot of problems are when it comes to joining tables, and and because why people do not have full understanding of what these functionalities are actually doing. They only know that they select. They will, sometimes they will, I will see someone where I've seen people sending, you know, even the DBA, some of the senior DBA will send you outside and say, can you please help me check this? I've been looking for. Then I look at it and say, hey, this is why, this is this. It's telling you this is instruction, you know. So please check. Is it full outside join? Is it right outside join? Is it left outside join? That's the first thing you should. Then where does it fall to? I mean, for, you know, where those tables, okay, whether it is the employee table, whether it is the energy table, which one on the left? Oh, okay. It shows to me that you want to see all the information on the left with the left right, I mean, with left join. Oh, okay, it's fine. So you see now. So when I see right, when I see right join, so then I said, which table is on the left or on the right? Rather, okay, it's department. Okay, yes, that shows you want to see all the information on the department, which is on the right. Regardless, you know, I mean, you get the, you know, the matching one, then plus. You see why I'm saying? I do not say the one that doesn't match. It is plus, you know. So you can say whether, just like when you union things, you know, union of information together. So it is regardless. The first one is give me the matching one. The first thing you see when you see the join, say, okay, you get me. So then you look at it. They want to capture more information, and what information do they want to capture? They want to capture. They will pointing that arrow. Just like when you put your cursor, you put cursor if it is right join. The cursor will be pointing right. I say, hey, I'm looking for this man on the right. I want all the information from this man to be published. Regardless, having the you know, the matching one plus whether it doesn't have this record here. So the same principle applies to the left as well. When you see the left join, look at the table, then the cursor will be pointing left. Just like when you indicate, when you are driving, you indicate right, you indicate left. Just consider that. Just remember, you driving, you get a stop sign, a robot, you have to indicate. Are you going left? Are you going right? If you're going right, this is, yet you consider that. I mean, if you're going left, you consider that to be maybe left join. Then you look at it where you're going to, pointing to that. Anytime you see all this, remember the traffic. So I think with this illustration, you should be able to be, you know, it should, I think it should be understandable.
Yes,
So I think, sir?
we are okay. We are okay with that.
Thank you,
We
sir.
can move on, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So with that being said, we actually spoke about, I mean, part of the exercise that I'm actually putting together. I'm going to ask and I'm going to want us to, because I want us to join more than two tables to, you know, more than two tables. I want you to see how they have been linked. So there's a lot of things that I want us to do, so that you know, like I said, I don't want this session to be like a practical. I mean, a literature class. I want it to be practical, because it's something that I see on a daily basis. You know, and when I talk to people, I really want to go to make clarity, because I've seen a lot of, you know, where people are having issues. So let's make it more practical. Anytime you see things, do not hesitate to ask questions, and, you know, look for. But when you are also checking online, you should also be very, very careful. There's a lot of code online that doesn't work, and there's lots of code that can actually is misleading. You know, I've seen a lot. Sometimes I do comments there to say, hey, why are you putting this code? Why? And you know this query would never run. So why are you confusing people? I always put comments anytime when people make reference to it and they send it to me, and I look at it and say, hey, no man, this is not right. So when you read online, just check and see that you know, try and copy and run it, and try to plug it into it, and you know. And again, what I want to tell you is, despite the fact that SQL is common in all the databases, You know, like we call it structural query language. You know, like ISO standard. There are things that are other how do I say this? There are commands that doesn't work on Oracle that does work on Microsoft. Okay, you can check if you see from Oracle when you write fetch, you say fetch maybe fetch for one row on what's it called. It can work perfectly on SQL Server, but it does not work in Oracle. Oracle say no, I do not know this thing that I mean this command. I mean so there's a little bit differences, and this is why I'm saying that one needs to know all the limitations. You really know to how to know, because now when you read the SQL from online and on internet, and they do not specify whether it is for Oracle, you only see the SQL, and you just copy the query and you paste it on Oracle on this, and you find out that boom, it is not right. It's not fetching your record. You begin to wonder, and that might actually confuse you. So I'm just giving you an hint so that you'll be aware that some of the conditions does work, and that is the differences, a little bit of differences. So, but the only thing ISO as actually stipulated or indicated is they need to conform to the where clause to say select from where having all this. So we move to how do we create our table. Okay, we know that records are kept in the table, but how do we create them? Remember, employee is a table. Okay, department is a table, location is a table, job history is a table. So many job, there's so many tables, like when you want to see all the table in a schema. Okay, let me go there. So if you want to see all the table, let's say you are given what's it called, the password to log on to any application, and you just want to have idea of data object that you have there. Sometimes they do have, not sometimes, you see table and view. Okay, but you might not see sequence. So then I will then you can say select star from tab. You can see you see table, and you can see view. And I think we're still going to go into view. I will explain a little bit of view, how they do work, also. So you see these are all the tables that we do have. Okay, if you look at yours, and we're still going to go there. Yours doesn't have this at this time because I just created it as a test. It is two tables that are actually created as a test, and you shall. I mean, you'll see that going forward now. Two table address and employee backup table. So I created it, for to demonstrate some things. So we shall all see that. So in this schema, these are all the tables that review. We have on this on the schema. So if you do that, you will see it. And if you are working, if you are a developer, if you want to check and see all the tables you have, you can actually use this so that this will actually indicate. And you can also use a different one. You can also select from all tables. You can see all the tables listed on the database, or you can also use DBA select DBA underscore tables. It will also listed out all the tables. So now we want to create a table. How do we create a table? Okay, this address I actually copy. I do not want to copy this one again because it's going to say table or objects exist. So it's not going to allow me to recreate it. Why? Because he has created a table, and with that table, the table name is address. So it's not going to allow me, and which is a very good thing. And I'm going to tell you why it's great. It's a very good thing. If I copy this one, I say, okay, create this table. Let me go, and you shall see now. Remember now, this table does exist. Okay. Remember I said this is the table. Select. This is the table. You see, it does exist because I created it. Why demonstrating things? So now, if we copy, I say If you copy and paste and say, create this table for me, you will see it's going to complain. It will tell you that this is already, is to say this name. You see now, okay. Sorry, just okay, just copy. Here. Can we all see? It says name is already used by an existing object. So if you have, and this is very, I love this. And why, because it's not going to allow you to overwrite that object. It's going to check which object do you want to create. You check, okay, it is table. Okay, that table does exist with the same name. It doesn't even want to check whether the same column or not. It doesn't even want to check. It wants to see the object because it could be so confusing. If you have another table name called address, which one are you referring to when you want to write your select to statement? So this is actually good. It's a key. And again, what this one does, why I love it so much is because, sometimes some developers, they don't even check they don't even check to see that whether the object exists or not. They just write a command, blah, 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 and they just copy and paste. And that can be so deadly. So imagine if a table has got a billions of record and somebody now is creating having the same name as that object, and you want to create it and you just put it, what it does, it will overwrite. So your empty table that you are creating will overwrite a billion record, which is that is a calamity. I've seen people being fired for using not only to create a table, when they're creating them, this object to say create or replace. I always tell people, I say, hey, do not use replace. It is good when you are one that what you are about to do, it's having this object. So then you can quickly say, okay, you maybe rename it. So, but if you say if you say create or replace, it doesn't ask you. It will just replace it sharp, because you've instructed, you've given instruction that you should replace it. It will simply sharp, and at the end of the day, those records are gone, except if a DPA will recover it. So we need to be very careful. You see, it says this. So if you copy it and you put it on your database, then it's going to create for you. Like you see here, it is actually created. You see, I created here. It is actually created here. If you can see. Like I explained, the table needs to have a name, which is called address. So what other information do you have there? Employee. So if you look at it on our employee table, we do not have the address. So I just say, okay, let me just create a table called address, where all the address of the employee. Fine, we do have location. But for me, if you ask me, I'm not so comfortable with that location. I was saying, I'm not so comfortable with that location, but that is fine for the purpose of training. But for address, you can actually link, we all live, we all have different location or destination where we live, So what happened is, how do we capture the employee address? So there's an address that is stored somewhere. So with having a link to employee table. So in this address, you have employee ID, referencing the ID of the employee on the employee table. Okay, you see the department. Which department does it belong to? It belongs to so department, which is, and if you look at it, look at the data type as well. It says number. Employee ID, it says number, which is 6, meaning you can have the length of 6 with all this comma. So if it is 4, It is the same formation on, it is the same structure on the employee table. If you look at it, it's the same structure on the employee table. If you look at it, I did something before. Let me quickly go. I'm on slide. Okay. Let me quickly go up. Then you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Okay, correct. Okay, if you look at it, this is the table. And if you look at it, okay, if you look at it, this is 6. You see, and this is 4. So the length is 4, meaning the length that goes into this. You need to, when you are creating your table, you need to instruct the table the type of data that you want to store in those columns. You cannot create a table called birthday or date of birth, and you put a name in it. It will reject it. It will tell you, I say, no, this is not a name. I'm not expecting a name to be captured here. I'm expecting a date to be captured here. So you need to give instruction how your data will be, how you want your data to be captured, and to what length, So you can see first name, this is how, first name is adding virtual. Virtual is alphanumeric. Okay, it can be, first name, first name, last name, you can see not no, meaning not no means, please, when you are creating a record of the employee, those are mandatory. Please replace, don't replace it. I'm just telling you, when you see it, there's a way to interpret it. When you see not no, it means it is mandatory. It cannot be empty. So for any employee that gets into the organization that you want to capture their information, they must have employee ID, and they must have last name, they must have email address, they must have hire date, and they must have job ID. They are compulsory. So if you miss any of those, it's not going to allow you to save that information, to say no. So when you see not no means it is mandatory. It has to have something. So we're still not getting into primary key. Primary key means it has to be, it is mandatory, and it must not be duplicated. It must not be repeating. It has to be used. It has to be unique. It is mandatory. That is primary key, and it has to be unique. So no one can use a code twice when it is primary key. So you can see now. So from here we go to creating the table. So you need to give instruction. So you say commission. You can see the commission is 2 by 2. You will see that I will explain that the data type. So this is where you need to study your data type. When you are giving assignments, when you're giving a requirement to create a table, you create information, or maybe you want to develop an application, you need to look at it and say, okay, I'm going to create this table. So what are the information that I want to be that needs to be kept in this table? So is it virtual, alphanumeric, is it number, is it blob? I remember in the previous session, someone asked how can we store a video on the database, and I told the person, I said, yeah, you can actually use is a blob. You see, so there are data type that you can actually use to capture those. You can use the blob to capture, and you need to state, I'm creating this table because I want it to capture video or multimedia media. So you need to say blob, then it will recognize it as. You cannot capture video on the voucher or on the number. So, and that is why you need to know exactly what you know. So our table formation, if you copy and paste, okay. So this table, I'm creating this table. I said employee this. So address number, I said version 2. Why did I say version 2? Because look at it. Some people will create address number, house number. Let's say house number. Why is it version 2? It can be number because you see one. So, but sometimes you see some addresses. Sometimes it can be 4A. for B or C as the home address. So if you then created that column as a number, then you put 4B, then it's going to reject it. So if you put varchar, it's going to accommodate it because it allows both alphabet and the number to be actually captured. So that is why it is actually very good, so to create. So you see the varchar, this is the length, and you are saying I want you to create, I want to capture alphanumeric into this with the total length of this. Any table, you can create any test table, you can do anything. You just need to go through this format to create a table. So then with that being said, then we'll go through the data type. Those data type inbuilt in the system, okay, on the Oracle. This is Oracle data type. You see character type, data type, like I mentioned earlier, like about varchar 2, char, they too, they have their limitations. They have their limitation and they have their usage. I will tell So when you see varchar 2, I described them. I said, okay, you can see the list of them. You have, these are the data type you have in Oracle. Varchar 2. I mean, character, numbers, date. Long data. The binary, which is the club. Which is for the multimedia, and then with the video. Your TikTok. You can actually, they can actually keep their information here. So now, if you look at this character, I don't know. You might probably want to know. You might probably want to see. And I've seen developer creating columns using char, which is char and varchar. And can I tell you why I always recommend varchar? And I'll tell. I'm going to tell. I will tell you the implication of this. The implication is based on space management and performance. So a lot of people will just create because they know that it can actually accommodate alphanumeric. They will just create and say, hey, char. So, but char, you give a length, a total length of let's say 10. And if you now save something like this three character, maybe 3 character, maybe 4B or maybe 4C or 42C. So what it does for char, it pad it. Remember we spoke about left pad, right pad in the previous last session, which is last week. So it does that also. It's as if you are instructing. It's fixed length when you use char. But when you use varchar is variable length. So it doesn't pad it. But this one, when you say char 50, so when you save three character or so, it takes it as a byte, then it pad it. It puts maybe things and it pad. It also it occupies all the space. You can imagine when you have a block. Let me just take your abstract mind into something physical. You have a block, then you say, okay, for this space, I want 50 to be there. You understand? So I want 50 compulsorily 50. So it will now maybe you just put something, maybe 3 things there. Now what the compiler will do? I mean, what we will do is it will put something. Maybe we'll put bricks and other things, and just occupy the space. But with varchar, when you put 3, it can still leave that space for others to actually save. Then you actually indicated 50, but then it can actually manage your space comfortably. And if you look at it, the difference is that they actually spoke about here to say maybe, okay, this one is fixed length and the other one is variable. So they said when you insert or update a row, a record, when you insert or update a row in a table and the value of this is varchar, it has a fixed length. You see, it has a fixed length. If you give a shorter value and the value is blank padded, you see, to the fixed length. So it just makes sure that it will just take the space. Even when you put 2, it will take all the space, and which doesn't make sense for me when it comes to management, space management. I always advise, I say, hey, for space management, it just doesn't make sense. You cannot create this you cannot use this as a table formation. So version 2 is more comfortable because it can actually adjust itself and say, okay, yes, it's 50 length, but yes, I mean, what you put in with the value is about 3. Yeah, let me just give other space, from the block. Other will be able to save. So for space management, version 2 is actually encouraged. There's actually advice and encouraged. So we spoke about there's a number data type. So what are the numbers data type? How do we capture? You can write them. You see that if you look at it, you can saw it's a fixed length and with a float. These are the you can put a column called numbers. You can just say create as a number. You might not indicate the length. So if you do not indicate the length, it can take as many numbers. It can take millions. It can take billions if you do not indicate. But what if you want to do some calculation? Maybe you're talking about pricing that you need to have maybe like 2 to 2 decimal places, so not more than that. Then you can actually restrict what goes into that column as a number to be, maybe you want to say maybe it's maybe 7, maybe that maybe 7 or 10,2, to say maybe in 2 decimal places also. So how you place your information is a key. First, you need to determine what information that you capture into that column. So you need to determine, okay, if it is number, if it is virtual, if it is multimedia, if it's this, you need to confirm that. So to what length is it? Then you can actually adjust, and you can see from the screen that if you want to capture the 4 point something, you can see the number. Then if you do that, then if you use the first one, is to specify when you say this, you can actually capture 7, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3 into it. And it can take more, it can actually take more than that. So because remember I said if you do not indicate the length, then it can take as many figures as possible. So this one, if you create this one with the asterisk and comma, so you can actually insert this into it. You can actually store this. So if you say 9, you see 9. If you say 9, you see it can actually do that for you. So you can actually save all this. If you say 9, you can actually save this into that column. But if you look at it, if it is more than what you've stated, let's say you say length of 6 and you are putting more than, then it's going to throw error and say not, it's not acceptable. It's exceed the. So these are the way you can actually create. These are the formation of your table. These are the formation of your table. So these are the formation of your table, and these are the way you can actually derive and get to the point where you apply your data type. So let me run quickly because of time. So so like I said, okay, now the date as well. Remember, I made a mention. I referenced something, date of birth on employee. Date of birth on employee, you describe to be date. They put date, you need to put it as the date. So let's say for instance you want to check and date. When you do your installation, okay, when you do your historical installation, there's something called this one is very key to this one. When there's a format, there's ls ls, yes, the format, date format. That is the default, the format of the installation. And based on all this, they have all this database policy as well. So this one will determine is by default. This is the format of the data. Any database they have this, and if you check maybe in terms of the Oracle to see the format of the date, then you'll be able to see with this. So now let's say for instance you just want to see today's date. You write this. You see, I wrote this from SQL. You can see today's date. Then we'll be able to see the format. What format is it? Look at it. If I say 6 date from Joa, 6 mean I want to see. Can you give me? I don't know today's date. Remember, somebody can ask you, what's today's date? I don't, So you can actually, if it's somebody say, what's today's date? Without you looking at the calendar or looking at your phone, you can just say, select see date from Joa. So it's going to show you, it's going to tell you the date. And you say 24. Today is 24 June 2023. And if you look at it, it says date, DD. You see DD / you see DD / which is moon, M-O-N. I mean M-O-N. That is month /YY. So this is the format from the database. So you might install your database. I mean, you might change your, you might have a different one, or there's a way that sometimes you want to display them. We can use to date. And if you look at it, you pass this information, you see, to date. This is how to manipulate dates as well. You see, to date, you pass this to say it's 24th of June. But then when you are saying this has to be correct. It has to tally. It has to tally with this. And if you look at it, it says the month, which is June. It says the month, which is in a space, DD, which is the date, comma. You see, why, which is for, so it has to, the instruction, what you are passing, it has to align. So now you're saying this to, so it's still taking you back to say, yes, this is the format that I have on my PC. So now let's say, for instance, you want to capture date, in any of the column. You just say, maybe you say the DOD, which is date of birth, date. So it's going to capture date into that column. So long data, they are also used for data dictionary. Okay, you see all this query that we are writing. Okay, any query that you write on SQL, this SQL, it is kept in the database dictionary. It is not that maybe it is used and dump. It is actually kept in the database because why? The optimizer, they use it, they keep it. They keep the statement. One, maybe they want to, if the auditing. Secondly, maybe if you write any query to ensure that it quickly process your query for you. So it captured all the length, the text of the statement that you write. It captures it. So if you want something like that, so you can actually describe your column to say log that you want to capture. Maybe you want to put an essay, a letter, essay. Nigeria is this country, and this is, you want to put a long one, then you can actually determine that. And version 2 has got I think the maximum length of 2,000 as a character. So there's a limitation as well. So if you want to capture more than that as a character or alphabet, then you probably go for option long. So blob, the binary data type, which is the blob that I mentioned earlier, that you can actually use it to capture your your video. So Dr. Okay, am I I think the time is yes.
Thank you so much. Do we have any question in the house?
Let's see.
Have any question? Can we raise it up? Any question? Simply means you don't have any question. So on behalf of the entire class, we want to say thank you so much. God continue to strengthen you and bless you more. I think by next class, the rest will be from next class. So let's just make sure we come on time. And if you are there, if you enjoy the class, please put the thank you. So I can see some people are doing that already. Thank you, KK, yes. Every one of us are saying thank you. So let's not just wait for any other thing. Let's continue, do the practice, copy and paste, and also see what happened to the output we are putting it. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
So, Dr. Okay, I think we need also to remind our